practicing a drill called Hubud. The full name is Hubud-Lubud, which means to tangle and untangle. In the Chinese arts, this is called crisscrossing monk. It's an important skill to have when you're infighting or doing close range combat with an opponent. Now, it might not look like a lot here. However, if we put it into context, and we always start at this outside range. Now, Tan is loaded. I'm not coming in on this number 1. I'm going to fake so that he strikes, and I'm going to come in on his less strong number 2. And then we go to the inside striking. Now, he checks my weapon. And so as I'm trying to hit him, he goes to hit me with his weapon. I parry it over the top. I sweep him down. Boom. And now I have control of that situation. So in there, right in the middle, was 1 repetition of the Hubud drill. Now I'm going to break it down for you this time. As I cross the gap, again, he's loaded, so I'm going to do the number 2. Boom, I strike. Now we're in close. Boom. I have now checked his weapon hand with my free hand. Now, we should practice this a bunch. He should do a whole bunch of strikes here with the butt of his weapon, and I should practice checking it with a loose hand. I don't want to push too hard because then I'm going to be over here, right? Whoops, I timed it wrong. Instead, I want my hand to stay here. Let him come to me. Let him run into me. Now, but I'm giving him a pulse. I'm not just waiting so he smashes my hand into my face. I'm meeting him with just a little bit of energy. Turning my center towards that hand. And how's that feeling, Tan? He doesn't like it at all. He's eating all of that energy. And for me, he's striking the bony ridge right here on the outside of my ulna. So as I come in and boom, check his strike, I'm going to come underneath. I'm going to parry it with my weapon hand at the elbow. Now at this moment, he can't touch me with this stick. I have good control of his body. And then, but I want to free my weapon up, so I'm going to put my hand on his tricep. And now I'm checking. I'm not really pushing. I'm kind of floating here, like my checking hand. But I'm keeping that stick from being able to touch me. His body is turned. His center line is facing over here. My center line is facing him, giving me an advantage until he reorients himself. Now, at that moment, you notice that I did a takedown in the demonstration. So as I entered here, we're repeating this. Yep, go ahead, sir. Boom, boom, I strike. He strikes. Boom, I parry over. And then I went into a butt strike here, which he checked. And then I came around and swept. But we're going to break it down from step 1 all the way to this through the next lesson. This is a 2-part lesson here. We'll take the sticks away for a second. We're just going to use our empty hands. I'm going to throw a number 1 with an open hand, a chop. You'll see this in Aikido. They feed like this all the time with this attack. Tan has turned. He's made his cross, and no matter how hard I chop, he should feel, boom, yeah, ow. That just stunned my whole arm all the way up. Was it difficult for you to block? Should be very relaxed. Now he parries over the top, checks my tricep, and he comes in with his hand. So I check the arm, elbow, tricep, wrist, elbow, tricep, wrist, elbow, tricep. Now this is designed to give us massive repetitions. Notice we're turning. As I check and parry, I turn my center line, so now I'm facing more towards the backdrop. And as I come in with my chop, I turn my center line with that attack, as does Tan, and now our centers are facing this way. So we check, parry over, and finish, boom, at any time. However, for the sake of the drill, we want massive repetitions. So we're going to keep going. But at any time in this, I should have the ability to put an end to this. And now is a great one when you're checking that tricep. You can simply press against his stance and usually send him flying towards the back of the room. Now let's go back to sticks for a moment. Now you can see the same drill with the stick. As he strikes, I'm blocking his weapon. I'm coming underneath, and by the way, this has to be in close, right? This is not a long-range technique. I can't Hubud out here. I don't want to catch his weapon like that. I need to be catching his hand, his arm. And then I'm underneath. I've done my parry, check, strike. Parry, check, strike. 1, 2, 3. Now, once you get this, we can start to talk about striking. during the drill. Keep going there. Yep. So we're still in the Hubud, but there are times when I can strike him in the head. Here, go ahead, keep going with your Hubud. Strike him in the head here. Strike him in the body. And then there are things that we can do, which I'll teach in the next lesson, such as locking. All right, so Hubud is a very versatile drill, and it can be used with knives as well as with sticks and empty hand. It teaches you to intercept your opponent's energy, turn his center, so that you can attack with impunity. It's a good drill to learn.
Your homework for lesson 6.2 is to practice the Hubud drill. First, empty-handed, and then with a stick. As you train, remember, progress from the wrist to the elbow and finally checking at the tricep. Begin the drill moving slowly and softly, focusing on alignment and structure.